Hello, I'm Benjamin Wilcox and I will be presenting the demo for part 1 of the course project. We are starting off here on the login page. Up top is where the user can log in, or they can hit the register button down below. If the user decides to just enter a username, it will notify them that all fields must be filled out. And if the username and password is incorrect, it will also tell them that is incorrect and clear the fields. So now if the user decides to register, they can click on the register button and it will take them to the register page. The register page has the same feature where they can fill out any random fields and try hitting submit, and it'll keep the fields but tell them all fields must be filled out. Once the user has submitted all their information, they can go ahead and hit the submit button, and it will then take you to the login page where they can then type in their password and log in. Once the user has logged in, they'll be taken to the welcome page, and here currently the only thing you do is hit the initialize database button. So we click that and wait for the server to respond. It will then tell you the database has been initialized. And to test this, we can go back to the login page and it will have dropped any new users. So if we try root again, it should tell us that the username password is incorrect. Here we are looking at the code for the login page. We'll first get the parameters from the forms, and then it first checks to see if the register button is pressed. If so, it will redirect you to the register page. If not, it continues on and checks that both fields are filled out. If not, it will return them to the same page with a message. Otherwise, it will go and actually check to see if the entered information is correct. If so, it will take them to the welcome page. If not, it will tell the user that it's incorrect. And here we are just using another class called authentication to check if the information is correct. Here is the code that we use to make sure the user has entered the correct information. We have a properties file that will get all the connection information and get the prepared statement. Once it gets the prepared statement, it will enter what the user has entered into the prepared statement and execute that query. From here we check once if there's anything in the query. If there is, the user is authorized. If there's nothing in the query, then the user is not authorized, and it will return that, and the check logging page will delegate that. Here's a quick look at the database properties file. It just has a string for every variable that you might use in the database. In case anything changes, we can change it this one location and it'll change everywhere automatically. And it just uses these in return strings to return the statements that are used. This is the code for the register page. Basically the same as the login page. If anything is null, it will tell the users that the field must be filled out. We'll check to see if the passwords are equal. If everything is filled out properly, then it will get the connection from the properties file, and additionally the prepared statement again from the properties file. And then we'll add the values to the prepared statement and add that to the database. Here we have the code for the initialize database button. All it does is just checks if the button was pressed. If so, it calls another class and returns the information that tells the user that the database was initialized. The class that it calls is the SQL file execute, and basically it just executes the SQL file that we have. Here is the SQL file that is executed. Basically we have dropping all the tables, if it exists, and filling them with new columns. At the very bottom we insert into the users table. This is what initializes the database. So here we have just another test. If we execute the file from here and reload the users table, you can say that there is no root user in here at all. We then go to the register page, type in root for everything, then go and hit submit. You can then go back to the database and rerun this and see that there's now a root user.